All right, I'm going to do a quick video on how I'm looking at some of these bottomed out altcoins. I don't know how you would call them, looking for stuff breaking out of some kind of accumulation, and how I'm determining a confirmation signal. This is ALGO, so 20-week moving average is the white line, volume, huge breakout, big green candle. And yes, that's what I bought into. So it could retrace, absolutely. But for what I'm looking for, the time frame that I'm looking, this is the type of situation I like. A lot of increased volume interest and a weekly close that's going to be above that 20-day moving average or 20-week moving average. It's working its way. If this doesn't tap that 200-day moving average, I'd be absolutely shocked. And this horizontal level right here is just one that it's interacted with a ton. So let's try to put that on the chart right there. Looks like it's trying to clear it here. Now it's done it before, whatever. I'm looking for a daily close here, which would also be that weekly close over the 20-week. And then first resistance is going to be this 200-day, which I actually think it'll tackle. And then looking up here around 4K. So nice little move just to get to there. However, I think this one is probably got a trip up here to 5,500, something like that. So that's how I'm looking at that one. That's why I chose to take a position here, and it's very similar to some others. So I'm going to go ahead and show those as well. This is Fetch, F-E-T, and you can see here on the 20-day, it broke above it, retested it. And I bought this one somewhere on this candle yesterday, like probably before it fully retested 450, something like that. And you can see the positive response that it's having from it. Again, I'm expecting resistance at the 200-day moving average, but based on following some of these other coins, I think that it has significantly higher potential, maybe up here around 1100. Up here, basically looking for what are the prior breakdown points that it could go and retest. That's what I'm seeking. The prior high, 921, going from 450 something to 921, that's over a double. One thing that is a little more concerning about Fetch is it had a ton of volume interest back here, and then all that volume interest just died off, so it hasn't gained that volume yet. So I could be getting stuck in this one during accumulation. It could stay down here for a long time. It's a risk I'm willing to take. This one's a little bit different than ALGO as well in terms of that 20-week moving average. I'm trying to keep a simple plan here. I'm kind of anticipating the 20-week breakout rather than buying the 20-week breakout. So the smarter buy if you're looking at this on a weekly, would actually be buying 575, something like that. Notice all these weekly interactions it's had with that level, and that would also be a weekly close over the 20-week moving average. So that would be a better confirmation, and in that scenario, you're definitely playing it back to like 1600, this weekly level here. This is kind of this is where I want out on this, 1600. That's over a 3x, but it's very similar play. A lot of these altcoins, these very cyclical altcoins, look similar. Raven is another one. This one's getting the weekly close over the 20-week moving average, drawn down a bit from the high of the week, and I'm looking for at least the top side of this range, 430, 450. If that one breaks above that, I think it could get as high as this breakdown point here, 660, something like that. On a relative basis, that's not as good of a risk and return. Also, for what it's worth, I bought this one yesterday, something like this range, for that 200-day retest. On the daily, it went well below that, but that's why I actually set manual stops on these, so I didn't get a daily close in my stop. But that was just kind of a loose manual stop below the 200-day. If there's a daily close below that, then I think I'm generally in trouble. But I haven't stopped out on this, but I'm basically back to, relative break even. I think I bought it around 350, buying that dip yesterday. And of course, it went down. I could have had a significantly better entry, 6-7%, something like that. On this one, I'm looking for a couple of big green candles to take us to the top side of that range. Funny enough, though, 1, 2, 3 trips to that range, I actually don't think it'll hold it. So this is one where I'm live drawing this horizontal, so forgive me. You know, I think it's got more potential than my take profit. Tons of volume on this current daily, which is also showing a lot of strength, a lot of willingness to buy. So I'm going to keep an eye on it, but my initial interest in terms of where I might look for profit is just somewhere on the top side of this range above, let's say above 450 sats. So that's how I'm looking at that one. That's 3 examples. Took positions in all of those. In terms of an update on ZRX, that breakout, retest, move back up. I love this look going into the weekly. This is one I talked about in a previous video. This is another one, though, that I'm preempting the move above the 20-week moving average. So keep that in mind. And then in the podcast, we talked about B&B looking good. This is the reason why I'm preempting it on some of these, because once they go, they might go really hard, and then it's kind of tough to get back in. And then this one on the daily, I was looking at this yesterday, but I didn't buy B&B, and just, look at that response it's had off of it. So, sometimes when these things move fast, I am trying to preempt the breakout a bit. It's a little dangerous because it could have just as easily gone here and boom, break right down. So that's the risk that I run. I think there'll be drawdowns on all of these, whatever. I'm not too worried about it, but I just want to show you the setups that I like. I actually think there's quite a bit of room for alts here. Bitcoin itself, it looks like it's stretched on this daily, no doubt about it. It's just sitting here at resistance, but on the weekly, we're making a higher high on this weekly, and we're aiming for that 11.5K target. Looks, well within reach. Looks like we could reach it next week without a problem to me. So overall, I'm okay with the strength of the market. And if we get a drawdown, I'd be looking to be a buyer at 8,500 to 9K, something in there on a daily basis. You can see a weekly basis, 8,300 even. Pretty much any dip is a buy on Bitcoin, and the relative strength for altcoins still looks really great. So that's kind of how I'm looking at the landscape. I've got a stake in 4 or 5 different altcoins right now. ENG is the other one, which I actually, I round tripped. I took it all the way up here and hardly took any off. I even added on the way down. Didn't play that as well as I could have, but that's okay. It's part of the game. I had a higher target. I was looking for a move all the way back up to the prior range, to this weekly here, and it stopped out at this congestion area back here, and I thought it'd be a shorter dip than it was. It went pretty much all the way back. It's okay. Still got a lot of exposure to ENG. Not worried about it, but obviously could have done a little better on the small portion of that trade. The last few weeks, there were plenty of times where I could have stopped out and tried again, but that's how it goes sometimes. We'll see how it goes with these other ones, combining all this stuff together, see if we make some money. That's how I'm looking at altcoins. All right, see you later.